Hi, everyone. Dr. Cliff Faver here. And this week's going to be a little different. We talk a lot about hair and skin problems, but, in my book, it's important that we also run a good business because if you're having troubles and struggling with your business, you can't help a lot of pets. And I think we have to remember that. One of the things we owe our clients, one of the things we owe our staff, one of the things we owe our pet clients is being able to stay in business. So it's important that we take care of the health of the business as well as the health of the hair and skin. So one of the things that I think is very important, and I know as a veterinarian I struggle with, and I know groomers struggle with it all the time, is raising your prices on a regular basis to keep up with what inflation is. I predict, and I hope, and I pray that I'm wrong, but I think a lot of groomers are going to go out of business the next couple of years. Now, why do I say that? Because they've gotten behind a power curve, because they're afraid that they can't take a big jump or an aggressive change in order to stay in business. But we have to realize in the last 3 to 4 years, our inflation rate's almost 20-some%. So that means if you haven't raised your prices at least 20% in the last 4 years, you think about it, $100 there should be $120 now. If you haven't raised your prices there, you're not even keeping up with the basic inflation. Your costs have went up. So what it means to most of us that haven't raised our prices is you're just losing 20%. And you're eating up all your profit. In fact, I hear a lot of the groomers that are going back to work just to make payroll. Not to make money, but to make payroll. So you've got to make some changes on that. You have to think a little differently. A good business will raise their prices on a routine basis. Now, I always like to tie it to CPI. If the prices or the CPI is 3%, you need to go up at least 3% in order to keep up with business. Now, if you want to have to raise yourself, you may want to double it so that you can have some money on that. But you've got to raise it accordingly. Otherwise, for each year you don't do that, then you have to make a bigger move down the road. So if you haven't raised your prices in the last 4 years and inflation's 20%, you need to make a 20 to 40% adjustment to stay in business. Otherwise, what happens is you're going backwards and you're not going to be able to stay around. A lot of people will go out of business before they'll make that adjustment. Realizing you need to look around. Now, unfortunately, sometimes our competitors are our worst enemies in the fact that they're not raising their prices either, so it makes it hard to adjust. But we need to make those adjustments to stay in business. It's interesting, I find some of the businesses that do the best are probably some of the highest priced ones. Everybody's always worried about keeping their prices low. The reality is the highest priced ones are a lot of times the ones that are thriving. Now, that's not just because they're expensive, but that means they are taking care of business. So I encourage you to take care of business, raise your prices on a regular basis so that you can help more pets out there. Hope that helps. We'll see you next week.